ज्ञानाञ्जनतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधनाथ स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताका स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो आचार्यपदाय निताय कृपा प्रदायिने गौरकथा धामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्रीमन गौरंगा महाप्रभु की जय। Hare Krishna, welcoming all of you to Gaura Katha Day 3. Before proceeding today, I'd like to mention that this Gaur Katha was actually an inspiration from a very, very dear friend of mine. I didn't want to embarrass her, but I don't feel nice not to mention her also. So my very dear friend Sukha Sagari, she actually was the main inspiration. She engaged me in this service, so I'm ever grateful to Sukha Sagari. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to talk about the transcendental pastimes of Sriman Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. And I have another question that I thought that we can start with this question that I received yesterday from another very dear friend of mine, Madhavi Gopi. She asked this question that what is the importance of Vishwaroop? We don't hear so much about Vishwaroop, nor do we see that Vishwaroop took part in any of the Leelas directly of Mahaprabhu. So what was so special about Vishwaroop and who he is? So I'll just start with that particular question. We'll start today's katha with that question today. So Vishwaroop, as we have explained, he is actually the partial expansion of Lord Balaram. And although Vishwaroop is not so much mentioned in detail, nor do we hear much about him in his later part of his life, but the earlier part of his life that he was in Nadia with Mahaprabhu, that is very beautifully explained. In fact, it is said that Vishwaroop was the ninth child of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi after the 8 girls who were born. So Vishwaroop was the ninth child who stayed, and he was so adored. He was so much adored and loved by his parents. And in fact, Vishwaroop was such a personality, he had a lot of distaste towards anything mundane. He would therefore rise very early in the morning, and he would take his bath in the Ganges, and he would go straight to the house of Advaita Acharya Prabhu or to the house of Srivas Thakur. And it is said that he would actually spend his entire day, he would spend in the association of the Vaishnavas. And he would do nothing else other than listening to Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting the holy names. He would just be immersed in completing his sadhana towards the Lord. And whenever Sachi Mata would cook the afternoon meal, the afternoon prasadam, Sachi Mata would send baby Nimai, who had just learned how to walk. And Nimai was actually so enchanting. He was so beautiful. He would come, he would enter straight into the house of Advaita Acharya or the house of Srivas Thakur, wherever Vishwarup is. He would be either of these two places. And he would just come, when all the devotees would be sitting in a circle discussing Krishna Katha. Vishwambhar, Nimai, he would come into the center of the room and he would, just pull on the dhoti of Vishwarup, that Vishwarup, let's go. Mata is calling. She has made prasadam and she's calling for prasadam. Let's go. But as soon as Nimai would come into the assembly of the Vaishnavas, each and every one of the Vaishnavas present would feel that the Lord of their heart, whom they were so beautifully glorifying, has suddenly manifested in the form of this golden child who wears nothing other than just ornaments, and he wears all the directions. The reason why we say he wears all the directions is because Nimai, he would not wear any clothes when he was a little boy. No single strand of cloth would be on Nimai's body, just like baby Krishna. Nimai would only wear, like tinkling ankle bells. He would have a beautiful, waist belt, nice armlets, bracelets, beautiful necklaces. His hair would be tied up in a top notch like that. So beautiful, beautiful Gauranga Sundara. He would come and he would, Lord Chaitanya, just imagine the form of Nimai. His lotus feet was reddish. He would always have a red tinge of alta, this red dye that was anointing Nimai's lotus feet. And then on top of that, on his golden feet, there would be a strand of pearls, tinkling ankle bells that Nimai would wear. And then his beautiful, soft legs. And then right above his legs, his waist, adorned with a very beautiful pearl-like, waistband. And then some, little pearls around his neck, beautiful chubby little body of, golden colored chubby body. And Lord Nimai's face, he was like a moon, a golden moon. So beautiful. Nimai's eyes were like, two restless does, like deer, the eyes of the deer just moving to and fro like that, not staying constant. He would always keep moving, looking like that. Very restless, extremely elongated, beautiful dark eyes. And Nimai's lips had no comparison. Just like Krishna's lips are reddish like the bimba fruit, similarly, Nimai's lips, appearing on his golden moon-like face, was this beautiful reddish lips. And whenever Nimai would giggle, as soon as he would come into the assembly of the Vaishnavas, he would smile radiantly. And whenever he would smile, his teeth would appear like a strand of pearls. So beautiful, so dazzling. Nimai would wear a beautiful tilak adorning his moon-like forehead. And his hair was like blackish cloud, surrounding the golden moon. And it used to be tied up in a top notch. Some flowers would be decorated. A pearl strand would be there, which would hang down like this. Enchanting form of Nimai. So seeing him, all the Vaishnavas present would say and would feel that the Lord of their heart has manifested externally in the form of this golden child, Gaura Hari, Gaura Sundar. So Nimai would then pull on the dhoti of Vishwarup and said, let's go. Sachimata is calling. I'm hungry too. Let's go. So both the brothers would come home and Vishwarup and Nimai would take prasad. Sachimata would feed them. And as soon as prasad is over, Vishwarup would come back again to the assembly of the Vaishnavas. He would not waste even a moment. And seeing this attachment that Vishwarup has to the Vaishnavas, Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra said, oh, Vishwarup, he is growing. And for him to start, developing some taste other than Vaishnavas, they thought that they should get their son married. So as soon as this thought entered, and they mentioned this to Vishwarup one day, the very next day, Vishwarup left home. And he just left home and he went away. He accepted the renounced order of life. He came to be known as Shankararanya Swami Maharaj, as we had described. Now, why or what was the purpose of Vishwarup's appearance? We all know that he is the partial expansion of Lord Balaram, but nonetheless, what was his purpose of coming? It is explained by Lochan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Mangala that just to keep up the tradition that Krishna, whenever Krishna comes, Balaram comes either as his elder brother or his younger brother. As Lord Ram, he came as Lakshmana. As Krishna, of course, he came as Balaram himself, elder brother. And here also, although Lord Balaram came himself as Lord Nityananda, he also wanted to come as a direct, like a blood relation. So therefore, he manifested as Vishwarup. And a partial expansion of Lord Balaram came as Vishwarup, just to keep up this parampara of coming as Krishna's brother. So that is, I hope this answers Madhavi Gopi's question. And moving on, yesterday we had concluded that how Lord Chaitanya, finally went back to the school. And, Sachimata did agree, and, she put him in the school of Gangadas Pandit, in the toll of Gangadas Pandit. And it is explained that Lord Chaitanya was such a scholar, so apt in his, picking up of Nyaya Shastra, of logic and understanding, that nobody was able to defeat Lord Chaitanya. He became the undefeatable scholar of Navadvip. So scholarly, so brilliant. So it is explained, there's a very special pastime that Srila Lochan Das Thakur explains from the Chaitanya Mangala. It is explained that one time, Lord Chaitanya, because he was so good in his studies, so of course there was one of his other classmate who was also very good. Of course, he was not as good as Lord Chaitanya. His name was Raghunath Pandit. But he was not as good, but he was definitely in, like comparison to Lord Chaitanya. Very brilliant child too. And he always used to feel a lot of competition towards Lord Chaitanya. He would feel very much, that why, Nimai is getting all the, the praises of the teachers, and why is he celebrated as the, Sanskrit Pandit? I'm also good. So one day, the entire class actually got an assignment to write some nyaya, to write some philosophy, to write some logical, grammatical, logical statements on a particular topic. So Nimai did a very good thesis. He wrote a very, very good thesis. And similarly, Raghunath, he had also written. So while going, Lord Chaitanya's school was in Vidyanagar. And for that, they had to actually sit on the boat from Antardvip, where Lord Chaitanya's home is in Yogapith. And they would have to get on a boat and cross the Ganges and come to Vidyanagar. Even today, it's the same. So that is another proof that Lord Chaitanya's home is in Mayapur. So they were crossing the Ganges, and then, Lord Chaitanya jokingly asked Raghunandan that, hey, Raghunath, you have written your Nyaya Shastra, have you written it? Your logical statements, have you written? Have you completed the assignment? So Raghunath said, yes, I have. And I assure you, Nimai, that mine is better than yours. So Nimai said, yes, I know. And then Raghunath, but he knew that Nimai's is going to be much better. He knew that in his heart. So he said to Nimai that, can I read what you have written? So then Nimai very, willingly gave his assignment to the hands of Raghunath. And Raghunath started reading, and he read the entire thesis that Mahaprabhu had written. And after he read it, he felt in his heart, genuinely he felt in his heart, that this is very good piece of work. That Nimai had, outdone himself. He had done the best thesis ever. And that what Raghunath himself had written was nothing. It was nowhere in comparison to what Nimai had written. So he felt that genuinely in his heart. But at the same time, he was feeling very dejected. So he said, while handing back the assignment to the hands of Nimai, Raghunath's face was very sad. So Nimai said, my dear friend Raghunath, why are you so sad? Why, you didn't like what I wrote? So then Raghunath said, no, Nimai. My dear Nimai Pandit, what you have written is very good. It's very, very good. You truly are deserving to be getting the title of Nimai Pandit. You truly are Nimai Pandit. Because the work that you have done, it's amazing, it's outstanding. And after reading your work, no one will even want to look at what I have written. So, but I'm really happy that you have done such great work. So looking at the dejected face of his dear friend Raghunath, Lord Chaitanya just smiled very beautifully, and they were on this boat, crossing the Ganges. Nimai Pandit just tore his assignment into little pieces, and he just put it in the Ganges. He immersed it in the Ganges. And Raghunath said, hi, Nimai, what did you do? Why did you throw this brilliant masterpiece? It was such a great piece of work. Why did you throw it away? And Nimai Pandit said that no piece of work is greater for me than the smile on my friend's face. So if it means to bring a smile to your face, that if I have to give up whatever I have written, I don't really care. Because I care for you, my dear friend. I want to see you smile. I don't want to be your competition. So Lord Chaitanya, although he was, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is establishing himself as Nimai Pandit, the scholar, the great scholar Nimai. But even for Nimai, at that time, relationship weighed more than his scholarly achievements, than his own achievements. That is Lord Chaitanya. That is the loving heart of Lord Chaitanya, because that heart that was beating inside of Lord Chaitanya was the heart of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani cannot see anybody in pain. That is her supreme compassion. If it would have been Krishna alone, then Krishna would have established that, yes, this is my Siddhanta. He would have established that. But because Srimati Radharani was present along with Krishna, it was the heart and the mood of Srimati Radharani that did not allow Krishna to do what he would have actually done. It's a very, very sweet pastime. That how Lord Chaitanya Nimai Pandit, he just gave up. This was actually the only, we all know that Shikshashtakam is the only 8 verses that Lord Chaitanya wrote himself. And this would have been another masterpiece that we would have had. But Lord Chaitanya, for his friendship, he tore it into pieces and he immersed it in the Ganges. Jai Shri Nimai Pandit ki jai, Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. So we should, always try to imbibe this mood that, we live for others, not for ourselves. We live our life for the satisfaction of our spiritual master. We live our life for the satisfaction of the Vaishnavas. That is the true meaning of leading our life as a Vaishnava. That is what means when we want to follow in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, in the footsteps of our Guru Vargas. This is exactly what it means. That we give others priority over ourselves. And that act of selflessness gives so much pleasure to the heart that words fall short to describe that feeling. Taste of the pudding is in the eating. Unless we render such a selfless act, we will not be able to experience it. It gives the highest form of pleasure. So this is something that, is a very beautiful pastime from Lord Chaitanya's youth. And of course, we know the most celebrated pastime from Lord Chaitanya's youthful days. His celebrated pastime is of his debate with Keshava Kashmiri. Keshava Kashmiri, we all know, was the Digvijay Pandit. He was the Pandit who had attained, fame, name all over the country because of his panditya, because of his scholarly achievements. And then he finally arrived in Navadvip, because as I was mentioning in the beginning, that Navadvip was the center of learning. That if we are declared in Navadvip to be a scholar, then the entire world would accept us as scholar. That was the position of Navadvip. So that's why Keshava Kashmiri, the Digvijay Pandit, came to Navadvip. And he came and he came to the banks of the Ganges, and just looking at Mother Ganges, poetry, it is said that Saraswati Devi would sit on the tongue of Keshava Kashmiri. And when he would recite, Saraswati Devi herself would shower, like words, like how flowers fall down from a tree. Like that, flowers of poetry, words of poetry would fall from the mouth of Keshava Kashmiri by the divine arrangement of Saraswati Devi. So just by looking at Mother Ganges, Keshava Kashmiri, he actually composed a very beautiful poem, very long, beautiful poem, glorifying Mother Ganges. And when he did that, Nimai Pandit was right there. And he came, and very humbly, Nimai Pandit, he pointed out that in the 4th line and the 5th word that you said in the 4th line, there's a grammatical mistake. Like this, Nimai Pandit gave 3 to 4 faults that Keshava Kashmiri had said, recited. Hearing which, Keshava Kashmiri was deeply offended, and he just rebuked Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit, and he left from the bank of the Ganges. That night, in his dream, Goddess Saraswati appeared and rebuked Keshava Kashmiri that, how dare you? Do you even know who came to you? You worship me and I worship that personality. He is my worshipable Lord, and you have challenged him in this way, that you are challenging him in his logic and his understanding. Immediately go and beg forgiveness from my Lord. So immediately, Keshav Kashmiri woke up, and then in the middle of, it was early morning time. He was just banging on the house of Sachi Mata, and when Sachimata opened the door, Nimai Pandit was there, and Keshav Kashmiri gave his prostrated obeisances at the lotus feet of Nimai Pandit, and Nimai picked him up and said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, I beg for your forgiveness, Nimai Pandit. Please forgive me for my atrocious behavior. Forgive me for that." Then Nimai Pandit, of course, hugged him, and but he was still declared as the Digvijay Pandit. So this was the beautiful pastime of Lord Chaitanya, his scholarly pastime with in Nadia with some of the devotees. And it is said that just like Srimati Radharani, she is always present with Krishna. And here, of course, as Lord Chaitanya, she is with Krishna all the time. But she also, Srimati Radharani also had a partial expansion of hers that appeared as Sri Gadadhar Pandit. So Gadadhar, stayed in Nadia, in Navadvip, and they were also very close friends, Gadai and Nimai. Gadadhar was very lovingly called as Gadai, and Nimai, of course, was Lord Chaitanya. So Nimai and Gadai, they were both very good friends. But Gadai, although he was in a male body, but he had the nature of a very shy lady. He had the traits of a lady, because Gadadhar was none other than Srimati Radharani. So Gadadhar, he didn't like, this appearance of Nimai Pandit as a Pandit. Gadai never liked that, and Nimai, whenever he would see Gadai, he would, challenge Gadai that, okay, Gadai, come, let's have a, debate. I want to debate with you. And Gadai would say, no, Nimai, I don't like all this debating. I really don't like this debating. We should be talking about Krishna. We should be talking about the Supreme Lord Hari. Why are we wasting our time in all this nonsense logic and all that? I don't like this debating and all these things. Nimai would say, Gadai, you are just scared of me. You are just scared of me, and you're just, you're very, very darpok. You're very scared of me. So, that's why you're giving all these reasons that you don't want to have a debate with me, because you know that you're going to lose. Like this, Nimai would always ridicule Gadadhar Pandit. And it is explained that whenever Nimai is walking, and if Gadai is coming from this side, if Gadai would see Nimai, he would turn and go away. Because he was so scared of Nimai Pandit that if Nimai sees Gadai, he will just ask him for a debate. So Gadai would avoid, to some extent, he would avoid the association of Nimai Pandit. So like this, Gadadhar and Nimai were having beautiful pastimes. And in the meantime, what was happening at the home of Jagannath Mishra and Srimati Sachi Devi is that Jagannath Mishra was seeing that although Nimai is there with me right now, and my son has still left, Vishwarup had already left home and taken sannyas. So just like Maharaj Dasharath, who could not bear the separation from Lord Ramachandra, he left his body. In that same mood, in separation from Vishwarup, Jagannath Mishra also left his body. And seeing the plight of his widowed mother, Sachi Mata, Nimai Pandit became very mellowed. And he would always be there, he stopped his mischievousness a little bit. He stopped his, even his Sanskrit, the debating mentality. He would do that outside, but not so much in front of Sachi Devi. In front of Sachi Devi, he would always be a very good, supportive son. He would do that for Sachi Devi. And Sachi Devi, one day, she actually requested Nimai, saying that, Nimai, I am very alone. Whole day you are in school, I am alone. So please, Do me a favor and get married. And immediately, without questioning anything, to Sachi Mata, Nimai said, yes. You look for the girl and I'll get married. So it is explained that the daughter of Sri Vallabhacharya was Srimati Lakshmi Devi. And Lakshmi Devi, her name was, of course, Lakshmi Priya. And Lakshmi Priya was very, very, she is, of course, the partial incarnation of Srimati Radharani, of Lakshmi Devi herself. And she was such a chaste and a very, very beautiful, like goddess of fortune herself. So when the marriage proposal came from Sachi Mata's home, Balabacharya immediately, was feeling himself to be very fortunate. So at the age 14, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was married to Lakshmi Devi, Lakshmi Priya. And Lakshmi Priya, she came and she started serving, Sachi Mata, staying with Sachi Mata, became a very good companion for Sachi Mata. And after a couple of months after the marriage of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu wanted to visit Bangladesh, East Bengal, with some of, like Lord Chaitanya at this time, he was running his own toll. Own toll means like his own school, like a grammar school. He had a set of his own students that were, learning everything from Lord Chaitanya. So along with his students, Lord Chaitanya went on a little tour of Bangladesh, of East Bengal. And he spent a few months in East Bengal. And there, of course, he met some very great personalities like Tapan Mishra and, many others. And when Mahaprabhu came back, he saw that his mother was in mourning. She was crying. Sachi Mata was crying because Lakshmi Priya Devi had left her body. It is explained that not being able to control her, love of separation from Lord Chaitanya, one night when she went into the Goshala, Lakshmi Priya Devi was bitten by the snake of separation from Lord Chaitanya, and she left her body. So Sachi Mata was very, very, sad. She was so morose. And it is explained that Sachi Mata, Nimai could not see Sachi Mata in this condition. And Nimai said, what can I do for you? Mata, please tell me, I can't see you, in such a mournful condition. So Sachi Mata said that, Nimai, I want you to get married again. I can't stay alone. You always keep traveling like this. I can't see, you staying alone, nor can I stay alone. So please, for my sake, I want you to get married again. And immediately, Nimai agreed. And this time, Nimai Pandit got married to the daughter of Sri Sanatan Mishra, who is Vishnu Priya Devi. Vishnu Priya Devi in Krishna Leela, she is Satyabhama. And Lakshmi Priya is said to be the expansion of Rukmini Devi. And it is explained very beautifully that how when they got married, of course, all the arrangements of the marriage, the expenses of the marriage, and all the, the priest and all the arrangements for the marriage of Vishnu Priya Devi and Mahaprabhu was done by this one personality called as Buddhimanta Khan. Very dear family friend of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was the one who helped Sachi Mata in making all the arrangements for the wedding. So after the wedding was done, Vishnu Priya Devi was, there in the house of Sachi Mata. And now was the time had come for Lord Chaitanya to fulfill the mission for which he had come. So, on the context of doing a pindadan to perform the Shraddha ceremony for his father, Sri Jagannath Mishra, Nimai went with some of his friends. He went to Gaya. And when he went to Gaya, he offered the Pindadan. He did the Shraddha ceremony for his father, Sri Jagannath Mishra. He did that. And then he came, right on the banks of the Ganges in Gaya. There's the temple of Lord Narayan, of Vishnu. And there it is said that there is a footprint of Lord Vishnu that is there in a shrine. So seeing that, lotus footprint of Lord Narayan, Lord Chaitanya literally went and hugged that lotus footprint of Lord Narayan, and there were tears of ecstasy flowing down from his lotus-like eyes. And that was the first time that Lord Chaitanya manifested his pure love for Krishna. That was the first time. And he fainted in ecstasy. And when Mahaprabhu fainted in ecstasy, all the devotees who were inside the temple, they actually gathered around Lord Chaitanya, and Mahaprabhu was carried to a nearby residence, to a little kutir of this personality named as Ishwarapuri. Ishwarapuri is the disciple of Sripad Madhavendra Puri. And when Lord Chaitanya came back to his external senses, he was just saying Hari, 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 Hari. He was just chanting the holy names. And he saw Ishwarapuri. And as soon as Mahaprabhu saw Ishwarapuri, he surrendered like a stick. Lord Chaitanya fell at the lotus feet of Ishwarapuri and said, I recognize you to be my Guru. Because you brought me to my external consciousness by reciting the holy name in my ears. I beg you to please accept me as your disciple and initiate me. Give me the holy names so I can chant the holy names of Krishna. So hearing this, Ishwarapuri could immediately understand that this is not any ordinary person, but rather this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Ishwarapuri could immediately understand by looking at the bodily symptoms of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He could immediately understand that this is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And then, just to follow the instructions of the Supreme Person, Ishwarapuri gave this name to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He handed over beads to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus hands, and he said that from this day forward, you will be known as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. This will be your name. And you simply chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And, this is how Ishwarapuri initiated Mahaprabhu, and he got the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And he came back to Navadvip, a completely transformed personality. Nimai Pandit was gone, that scholar was gone, and he came back a person who was maddened in ecstasy in pure love of Krishna. Whenever the Vaishnavas of Navadvip, headed by Sri Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, Srivas Pandit, all of these personalities, these great Vaishnavas, when they would look at Nimai Pandit, they would simply say that this Nimai Pandit is such a wonderful person. If at all he becomes a devotee of Krishna, how wonderful it will be. It is explained by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat that these personalities knew that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself and that he is manifesting his pastime as Nimai Pandit. They knew that very well. But again, they would get covered by Yoga Maya. And they would pray. They would all pray that Nimai Pandit would actually become a Vaishnava. They would pray, although they would know in their heart that this is Krishna. But because of their covering of the Yoga Maya potency of the Lord Himself, the Vaishnavas would pray that Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit, would become a Vaishnava. Again, a very, very, very beautiful point Lord Chaitanya pointed out by this, that it is only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, the prayers of the Vaishnavas, that we can truly become a devotee. We can truly aspire to become a devotee. We cannot become devotees on our own. Only by the mercy of another devotee can we become a devotee. This is what Lord Chaitanya exemplified through his own life. That is the reason why he covered even the hearts of Advaita Acharya, of Srivas Thakur, of Haridas Thakur, of all these personalities, all these great Vaishnavas. And they would pray that Nimai Pandit would become a Vaishnava. So what to speak of us? If we don't depend on the mercy of the Vaishnavas for us to continue our spiritual path, what is our hope other than the mercy of the Vaishnavas? So these, little things is what Lord Chaitanya, these are, very little things, but Lord Chaitanya, the way he manifested these little things in his own life, he showed us the importance of Vaishnava Sangha. He showed us the importance of devotee association in our life, that we don't exist without the mercy of the devotees, without the prayers of the devotees. So Lord Chaitanya came back to Navadvip as a maddened person. He was mad in ecstatic love of Krishna. And his golden form would be so beautiful. Lord Chaitanya would take out his Sankirtan party every single day. Mahaprabhu would take out his Sankirtan party. And he, this song is there, very beautiful song. Udila runa puraba bhage Dvijamani Gaura mani jage Bhakata Shammoha Lohiya Shathe Gela Nagara Braje. That as soon as the sun arises, this Sriman Mahaprabhu would also arise with all of his associates. Mahaprabhu would take out Nagar Sankirtan. And it is said, Tathai, tathai, baje lakhon, ghana ghana tahe, jhajhera rol, preme dhala dhala, shonaranga, charane nupura baje. This is how beautiful Mahaprabhu's form would look. Preme dhala dhala shonara anga, the golden molten like form of Lord Chaitanya would just be so beautiful. He would look like a golden mountain. And he would be, every pore of Lord Chaitanya's body would cry out, Krishna, Krishna. And his lotus feet would tinkle by the beautiful sound of his ankle bells. Charane nupura baje. Such beautiful description where we can see that Mahaprabhu, as soon as the Aruna Uday would happen, the sun would rise, Mahaprabhu would take out his Sankirtan party. So beautiful, such an amazing vision for the residents of Nadia. It would be a feast to the eyes to see Mahaprabhu's golden form dancing in the streets of Nadia. And Mahaprabhu at this time, he was waiting for his dear associate to come. And that day had finally arrived. The appearance of Nityananda Ram into the holy land of Nadia had finally come. And as soon as Nitai came to the land of Nadia, immediately Lord Chaitanya understood that my eternal associate has come. Nitai has come. So Mahaprabhu told all of the devotees, he called them and he said, go into the streets of Nadia and find my brother. He has come. Nitai has come. Go and find him. And everyone would, they all went in all directions, all 8 directions. All the devotees spread out that who is this personality who has come, and in whose, coming, Lord Chaitanya has become so much more ecstatic. Who is this person who has come? So they all went to search. They all went to search for Nityananda. That they went knocking on everyone's door. Is there a new person in your house? Who has come? Is Nitai in your house? But at the end of the day, they all came back very dejected. And they said, then Mahaprabhu, we were unable to find your consort. Where is Nitai? We were unable to find him. Mahaprabhu said, that's because only I, Gauranga, can find Nityananda. Nobody else can find Nityananda. So tomorrow you all come with me. I know exactly where he is. And we will go and find him. We will go and see him. So next day morning, Lord Chaitanya again took out his Sankirtan party and he went straight to the house of Sri Nandanacharya. In the house of Nandanacharya was this great personality, Sri Nityananda Ram. Nityananda was sitting over there on a beautiful asana. And as Gauranga Mahaprabhu flung open the door of Nandanacharya's house, there was Gauranga standing in yellow garments, pink colored chadar, his hair flowing in beautiful, his hair was tied up in a top knot. Lord Chaitanya was looking so beautiful. And as soon as he saw Lord Nityananda, tears of ecstasy was flowing down from his lotus-like eyes. Nityananda, his personality. Words can't describe the beauty of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda, as soon as he saw Gauranga at the door, immediately Lord Nityananda stood up. He was the same height as Lord Chaitanya, 7 feet tall. 7 feet was the height of Gauranga and Nityananda. Nityananda stood up. He was wearing blue silk dhoti. He had beautiful ornaments, decorating his lotus feet. He had some sapphires, as toe rings. Nityananda was a very, he is called a very appropriate dresser. He was a very particular dresser. He's very, very pakka in his dressing. So Lord Nityananda was, very beautiful in his appearance. So Lord Nityananda and his complexion was like copper. You know how copper, if you put it out in the sun, how copper shines? It has a reddish hue, but it has the shiny luster, which is, like the appearance of millions and millions of diamonds together. So that was the luster of Lord Nityananda's body. That he was looking as if, millions of suns had arisen at the same time and they were reflecting on his diamond-like body, giving out a reddish hue like copper. And Nityananda Prabhu was decorated with a beautiful forest flower garland. And, his chadar was flowing. It was early morning, so the sun was just rising. The birds were beautifully chirping. And Nityananda was standing as if frozen in front of Gauranga Sundara. It was the first time that both these transcendental brothers were meeting. And they both just ran towards each other. And they just embraced each other so lovingly. And everyone present, for the first time, they uttered this phrase, Gaura Nitai Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So this was the first time that this phrase was uttered. That Gaura Nitai Prema Anande Hari Hari Bol. seeing the love manifesting out of the happiness of the Milan of Gaura and Nityananda, the union of Gaura and Nityananda, all the devotees just resounded, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And devotees were going crazy in ecstasy, witnessing these beautiful personalities coming together. They were crying tears of ecstasy. And this was the Milan of Sri Sri Gauranga and Nityananda, of both these great personalities coming together. And Nityananda Prabhu coming to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the affirmation of the Sankirtan movement. That the Sankirtan movement had now got not only Krishna, but it had the power and the ecstasy of Balaram, Nityananda. Bala and Rama. Bala is the strength, Rama is ecstasy. So with the coming of Lord Nityananda, Nityananda brought power and bliss to the Sankirtan movement of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And at this time, Gauranga Mahaprabhu manifested so many pastimes, so many pastimes. Of course, the nocturnal kirtans at Srivas Thakur's house would go on every night. Lord Chaitanya would say that why should we waste our time in sleeping in the nights? In the nights also we will do kirtan. And then that was the time that Lord Chaitanya organized the first civil disobedience movement when he revolted against Chand Kazi. So, and then of course he had the Mahaprakash Leela. So, and then of course the deliverance of Jagai and Madhai. So all of these pastimes, out of which I will probably choose two to explain, that one day when Lord Chaitanya was, when he declared that we should have nocturnal kirtans, kirtans all night long. We should have kirtans all night long, not waste even a single moment, of our day. Let's not waste. Let's just glorify and chant. So they would all get together at Srivas Angan, at the home of Srivas Thakur. And it is explained one Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, when we were all at the house of Srivas Thakur, Srila Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj was explaining that, even till today, there are very, very tall coconut trees at Srivas Angan. And Jayapataka Maharaj, he was explaining that the devotees would be so much in ecstasy that they would just climb up these tall coconut trees and they would, feel thirsty. So they would climb up to the top of these coconut trees and they would, with their bare hands, they'll just open the coconut and they'll start drinking the water from the coconut. And then they would jump from one tree to the other. They would just jump like that. And that was the level of ecstasy that these devotees would experience along with Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was very particular that the audience of this particular, or the attendance of this particular nocturnal kirtan, was very few selected Vaishnavas. Because these are out of the world kind of things that would happen inside the house of Srivas Thakur, which ordinary people cannot understand. So each of those people who were attending these nocturnal kirtans were actually approved by Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, and finally approved by Nityananda Prabhu. And only then they were allowed to enter and be part of this nocturnal kirtan. So one time, there was a very humble brahmachari who came to visit Nadia, Navadvip Dham, and he came to this, came to know about these nocturnal kirtans of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he came begging to the house of Srivas Thakur, and he said, "My dear Srivas Pandit, please allow me to be part of this nocturnal kirtan." So Srivas Thakur said, "Okay, I can take you to Advaita Acharya and to Nityananda Ram, and they'll take your interview and they'll decide whether you're qualified or not." So then he was presented in front of Nityananda Ram and in front of Advaita Acharya, and they asked, so introduce yourself, what do you do? He said, well, I'm just a simple traveling brahmachari, and I just sustain only by drinking milk. I don't eat anything else. I just drink milk. I don't eat or drink anything else. I only drink milk. So hearing this, Srivas Thakur said, oh, milk drinking brahmachari, wow. And, Nityananda was, he was in his own world. He's Avadhut Mahashai. So Advaita Acharya said, Srivas, control. It's okay. Just because he drinks milk, is he okay to come? Srivas Thakur said, yeah, it's okay. What we can do is maybe, let's not say that he'll come directly in the audience of Lord Chaitanya. Maybe he can just sit at the entrance, and hidingly he can see the nocturnal kirtans. How about that? Advaita Acharya said, okay. Nityananda said, yeah, okay, whatever, no problem. He was in his own world, Nityananda Prabhu. So anyways, this milk drinking brahmachari was given permission to hide under a basket and to look at the nocturnal kirtans. And then that day, Mahaprabhu started his kirtans. Very beautiful kirtans would go on. And Mahaprabhu just closed his eyes and he opened his eyes and he said, there's somebody present here who is not supposed to be here. I'm not feeling the ecstasy. Somebody is here. Then immediately, devotees, Advaita Acharya and Srivas Thakur, they looked at, Srivas and said, it's that milk drinking brahmachari, bring him out. So then Srivas very humbly, he took that brahmachari in front of Lord Chaitanya and he said, well, Mahaprabhu, this is this traveling little brahmachari and he had the desire to see your nocturnal kirtan. So then, that brahmachari was standing at a distance and then Mahaprabhu was so angry. And Mahaprabhu said, Srivas, do you think that anybody who is just drinking milk for his whole life is qualified to see my nocturnal kirtans? Get that milk drinking brahmachari out of this place. Get him out. So this milk drinking brahmachari, he was, shivering in fear. He was seeing the anger of Lord Chaitanya. And then this devotee, Nityananda Prabhu felt very sad, actually, that, Mahaprabhu was doing such a harsh decision. And this brahmachari was leaving, he was going away. And Nityananda Prabhu said, but at least, tell that when he can come, when can he be a part of your nocturnal kirtans? So then Mahaprabhu thought for a while and he said, definitely some lifetime he will come. After a few lifetimes, he will definitely come. So this milk drinking brahmachari heard this verdict of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his heart was ecstatic. His heart was feeling so grateful that not a leaf would move without the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu allowed me to witness at least a little bit of the nocturnal kirtan. And he has said, he has given me hope that I will come back. I will be able to participate. So with this hope only is enough for me. With this hope, I can survive for millions of lifetimes in the hope that one day Lord Chaitanya will give me his mercy. As soon as Mahaprabhu, present in the heart of this brahmachari, recognized this attitude of gratitude of this brahmachari, Mahaprabhu immediately sent Nitai, that Nitai, go and bring that milk drinking brahmachari here. And Nitai himself caught the hand of this brahmachari and brought him in the audience of Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu said, you are qualified right now to become part of this Sangha. Welcome. And Mahaprabhu embraced this brahmachari, that only a grateful heart, no other qualification, that only a grateful heart is the true recipient of the mercy coming from Krishna. No amount of austerities, no amount of, fasting or any of these things will ever make us become recipients of the Lord's mercy. That is what Lord Chaitanya wanted to demonstrate through this particular pastime. That we cannot win over the Lord by doing any amount of tapasya, by doing any amount of fasting, because that might make us proud. That, oh, I drink milk only. Oh, I eat fruits only. That makes us proud. And when we have pride, there's no room for mercy when we have pride. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya was manifesting this pastime, especially for all of us, that we should understand that no pride, no amount of rituals, no amount of austerities can really please the Lord as much as a grateful heart. That when we truly deserve, to say to the Lord that I don't deserve your mercy, Krishna. I truly don't deserve your mercy. Whatever I'm getting is causeless mercy of the devotees. Then we become true recipients of the mercy of the Lord. In one of the nights, there was a complaint that was given to the local Qazi, the local king, like he was the Qazi of that place because it was a Muslim area. Navadvip, so there was Chand Qazi. He was the, like the king of that place, the Qazi of that place. And the report, a complaint was given to Chand Qazi that these Vaishnavas, they are screaming all night because these Vaishnavas are poor people. They don't get anything to eat. And because of that, they're just howling, because there's hunger in their stomach, they're howling, for some mercy, for some food. And that's why they're just screaming on top of their voice. They're chanting and calling out the names of God. So like this, the complaint went to Chand Qazi, and he immediately came and he broke the mridangas, and he broke the kartals. He just broke those things, and the soldiers came and broke that, and they went back. That's why till today, Srivas Thakur's Angan or Srivas Thakur's home is called as the Khol Bhanga Danga. Khol means mridanga, Bhanga means to break, and Danga means the area. So the area where the mridanga was broken by the army of this Chand Qazi is is near the place of Srivas Thakur's house. So Mahaprabhu heard this, that Srivas Thakur's house, these people came and they broke the mridanga. So Mahaprabhu organized the first civil revolution, the disobedience movement. And in that night, he, actually led the procession. Everyone was carrying a torchlight, like a stick with, fire on the top. And everyone was carrying that. They were chanting the holy names. And from Yoga Peeth, they came towards the palace of Chand Qazi. And Chand Qazi, when he saw that Nimai, Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself had come, he actually came out. And Mahaprabhu went inside along with Chand Qazi, and he said, why are you doing what you're doing? What wrong are we doing? And Chand Qazi was explained, from the tenets of Quran. Lord Chaitanya explained very, very nicely that you should have no objection that when we are chanting the holy names. So from the Quran, taking, quotations from the Quran, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu convinced Chand Qazi. And Chand Qazi was immediately convinced, actually. And he came and begged forgiveness from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But there was another incident that happened. The same night, during the day when Chand Qazi's soldiers went and broke the mridanga, it is explained that night, the reason why Chand Qazi came to greet Mahaprabhu when he came, there's a special reason for that. Because, Chand Qazi was not at all favorable towards Mahaprabhu. What made him become favorable to Mahaprabhu is this one reason. The reason is that the previous night, Lord Nrsingadev appeared in a dream to Chandkazi. And he sat on the chest of Chandkazi and he said, I'm going to rip apart your chest, you infidel. How could you go and break the mridanga of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? How dare you? And Chandkazi was shivering that who is this half man, half lion person? Who is this who is come and, sitting on my chest, threatening to rip apart my chest? And that time, Lord Nrsingadev said, I am Lord Nrsingadev. If you don't beg forgiveness from Gauranga Mahaprabhu, I'm coming back tomorrow night and I will surely rip apart your chest. And that's why when Gauranga Mahaprabhu came the next day, Chandkazi, welcomed Gauranga Mahaprabhu inside his palace. And they, of course, had the very beautiful dialogue. And at the end of the dialogue, Chandkazi revealed to Gauranga Mahaprabhu his dream. He revealed his dream to Gauranga Mahaprabhu that this is what happened to me. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu laughed. And he said, don't worry, my dear Chandkazi. You are actually a very dear associate of mine. You were actually Kamsa in your previous life. When I came as Krishna, you were Kamsa. And you had that enmity towards me. So you manifested little bit of that enmity towards me even this life. But now, this life, I am blessing you with Krishna Prem. So you will give up all your envious nature and you will simply be able to surrender. So Chandkazi just surrendered to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And if you visit, till today, if you visit the Samadhi of Chandkazi on the way to Mayapur, if you visit that place, the Samadhi, Lord Chaitanya himself, when Chandkazi left his body, Lord Chaitanya, he planted a champa tree. Champa tree is a very beautiful golden color flower, very fragrant, very dear to Srimati Radharani. So this champaka flower was planted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself because, one of the names of, Chandkazi was also Champakazi, He was fondly known as also Champakazi. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu planted this champa tree, and to show that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had accepted Chandkazi back to him, there was a tree of neem that manifested along with the champa tree. And if you see till today, the champa tree and the neem tree appear to be intertwined like this. It's very beautiful place. The Samadhi area of Chandkazi. And the neem tree and the champa tree, they are intertwined, they're intertwined amongst each other. And in certain places of the neem tree, you can till today see the face of Lord Nrsingadev. On the branch of the tree, the face of Lord Nrsingadev is clearly visible. It's very beautiful, that, and this is denoting the pastime that how Chandkazi attained Nimai, Champakazi attained Nimai through this pastime. So, of course, these are some of the youthful pastimes of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and we will continue on again from here tomorrow, and we'll continue on with the sannyas pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we'll end here today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sriman Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna. If there's any questions, comments, or reflections, we can take that now. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yet another fantastic session. Thank you so much about the Champatri pastime. So nice, so beautiful, Mataji. It was so nice when you were talking about how we need the mercy of Vaishnavas and how Mahaprabhu actually demonstrated that. Very, very lovely session, Mataji, as usual. Thank you so much. We are very, very grateful.
Thank you. Grateful to you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalasudha Mataji. Very, very wonderful to hear. Very neat to hear. Oh, what's going on? Very bubbly. So serious. It's like immense, but it's so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I have a question over the internet. What is the place where Chandkazi Samadhi is? This is asked by Venkatapati Prabhu from Hyderabad. So the place where Chandkazi Samadhi is in between, after, the road that comes from, from Calcutta, when you're coming into Mayapur, after you cross Rajapur Jagannath, the first place after Rajapur Jagannath is, on that straight road, is Chandkazi Samadhi, right there. Right, it's like a 10-minute walk from Rajapur Jagannath. So it falls on that main road, which we take coming from Calcutta when we are taking that little road, coming towards Mayapur. So first there is Rajapur Jagannath, then there's Chandkazi Samadhi, then there is the Gaudiya Mutt, where Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Samadhi is there. There is Govardhan, Radhakund, Shamkund. And then after that, there is first is Advaita Acharya Prabhu's house, Gadadhar Prabhu's house, then there is Srivas Angan, then there is Yoga Peeth, and then there is the ISKCON complex. So Chandkazi Samadhi falls in between Rajapur Jagannath and the Gaudiya Mutt. So I hope that answers your question. So Shamala Gopika has another question that Mahaprabhu didn't take sannyas when he got initiated from Ishwarapuri. No, Mahaprabhu didn't take sannyas. That was just his Harinam Diksha that he got from Ishwarapuri, where he was, getting Harinam Diksha. That was not sannyas. He was, when he came back, he was still married to Vishnu Priya Devi. And so, yes, that's what it is. So sannyas pastime we will speak about tomorrow. Faneshwari Lakshmi Mataji, you have a request. I see that to sing Udila Aruna. So I'll definitely sing that at the end. Any more questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji, koti koti dense pranam to your seva. Chandkazi Leela and how Nrsimha Dev appears at night, and Mataji, you explained the Nima story or the childhood story. It is alive, Mataji. We feel that Leela that much potent in your class. Can you please sing Namami Sachit, Gaura Hara, Temple Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Gurudev Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Sure. Well, today I have this request to sing Udila Aruna. So maybe we can sing Navagauravaram tomorrow again. But today I'll sing Udila Aruna to honor the request of Faneshwari Lakshmi Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavats. Thank you. Thank you. Any more questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Radha Krishna, Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Madhuri, thank you so much for another such a beautiful session on podcast. And just I have one question that how, like you said that Mahaprabhu, he got Harinam Diksha from Vishwanathari. So this Harinam initiation actually started from when Ishwarapuri initiated Mahaprabhu, or it's by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that he started this? If you can throw right in.
Well, see, very nice question, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Yes, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur formalized it. He kind of formalized it. But initiation, Diksha, has been in our parampara. Even Mahaprabhu initiated Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami.
Your voice is breaking, Mataji. I can't hear.
Okay. Is this better? Is this better? Can you hear me now? Hare Krishna. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur definitely formalized the initiation process. But the initiation process has been in our sampradaya since all the time. And that the question basically is that whether, did Mahaprabhu receive Harinam initiation? Was that the starting point of Harinam initiation? Or was it when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati started? Well, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur basically...
It's breaking, Mataji. The voice is breaking about now.
Okay.
Actually, the class was much clearer, but while question answers, the voice is breaking. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why that's happening.
Yeah, now it's clear.
Okay. So
I just heard that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur formalized, but it was there in our sampradaya. After that, I was not able to hear.
yes, I just was repeating your question. But so he formalized it, but it has been there in our sampradaya. Even Mahaprabhu gave Harinam Diksha to Rupa and Sanatan. So this Harinam Diksha, the concept of giving Harinam Diksha has been there in our sampradaya. But it was definitely more officialized and more formalized by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And more formalized by Srila Prabhupada, actually. The concept of, the difference between Brahman initiation and Harinam initiation. There's a lot of levels to that. So before previously, Nam Diksha was also equivalent to giving Brahman Diksha. But Srila Prabhupada made a clear distinction between the two. And sannyas, of course, is the third level of initiation for men. So does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
And one more thing, Mataji. With your kind permission, can I add one comment?
Yes.
If you allow. So I don't know, I'm right or wrong, maybe you can correct me, but I heard that the reason, why Vishwarup appeared, one of the reasons that I heard is that how Balaram, when he appeared in the womb of Mother Devaki, so Mother Devaki has already lost, 5, 6 sons. And then because it was destined that now Krishna is going to appear. But Lord Balaram has this mood of, serving Krishna in all the rasas. And he basically expands himself to become abode of the Lord and Nam. So, just to serve, he came before Krishna to clear the womb of Mother Devaki so that, the womb is clear and Krishna can enter. So similar reason that Vishwarup also came in the womb of Mother Sachi, just to clear the womb and then finally make space for, that Nimai can come.
It's perfect.
I don't know whether
yes, it's perfect. Yes. That is definitely one of the reasons. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. Any more questions? There's another question by Ashraya Radha Mataji saying that why did Mahaprabhu come as a hidden avatar? He came as a Channa avatar. There's a reason for that, is because Lord Chaitanya did not want to make an open declaration that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because his purpose was to, show all of us how to become a devotee. So being a devotee, if he would make an open declaration that he is Krishna, then he would be setting that standard for everyone else to follow also. So he would be very careful that in public he would never, claim himself to be God. Because he knew that if he would claim himself to be God, then unscrupulous people following that example in the garb of a devotee would also do the same. And also in Kali Yuga, it is said that Kali Yuge Nam Rupe Krishna avatar. So the main avatar in this Yuga of Kali is Nam, the holy name has come. That is the main avatar. And that's why Mahaprabhu comes as a Channa avatar, as a covered incarnation, so that people don't, unscrupulous people don't take advantage of this later on. So in short, that's the answer. And Shamala Gopika has another question. That Mahaprabhu is not satisfied with austerity, he saw the attitude. But when we do austerity, even if we don't say openly, but if someone asks and glorify, how to be humble? Well, yes, if someone asks, we don't have to lie that, yes, we are not doing these austerities, but rather, like we were explaining yesterday, that we offer all of this to our gurus. So when we offer and keep no credit to ourselves of that glorification that we are receiving, we don't hold on to those. We offer it that we are able to do all this by only the mercy of our spiritual masters. Then that glorification doesn't stay with us. It goes, and it finally reaches Krishna. So that is the way we can stay humble in spite of when we do certain austerities. Vidya Mataji has a question that when Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, did the Ashtasakhis also accompany? Yes, of course. Lalita, Vishakha, all of them appeared. And, they were great personalities. Lalita, Vishakha, all of them have appeared and as associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, all the Ashtasakhis have definitely appeared. So any more questions? You see, Venkatapati Prabhu has another question. That is, Brahman initiation a must for Harinam initiated devotees? Well, Srila Prabhupada said that we don't need to be chanting Gayatri to go back home, back to Godhead. That's a clear verdict by Srila Prabhupada. But just like Srila Prabhupada said, that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is actually eternal mantra. Even in the spiritual world, we will be chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That time we will not be counting and chanting. We will be chanting incessantly. Like, we will go on chanting. This is an eternal thing. But those of us who chant the Gayatri, we don't have to chant Gayatri 3 times a day in the spiritual world. The Gayatri mantras don't exist in the spiritual world. But the reason why Gayatri mantras are given to us is that, firstly, it's like we become qualified to do Archa Vigraha Seva. Because there are certain standards that as Brahmanical culture, we can follow certain standards so that we can worship the deity, we can serve the spiritual master in a more intimate way. So like this, these certain responsibilities and qualifications are given to those who receive Brahmin initiation. And Srila Prabhupada also explains that Just like a chemical reaction is fastened, the reaction can be fastened by adding a catalyst, then the reaction becomes much more quicker. You get much more faster reactions. So you add a catalyst to any equation, then the reaction becomes more faster, more quicker. So similarly, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is supposed to give us pure Krishna prema. But because we are so materially inflicted and our gunas are so much pulling us down, that's why this Brahman initiation, these Gayatri mantras are like that catalyst that help us achieve pure love of God faster way. It just fastens the process. So I hope that clears your question and answers your question. Any more questions?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I had a question about the fact that Vishwarup took birth to clear Sachimata's womb, I think is how it went. Just as Lord Balaram did the same for Mother Devaki. So I think I understood that, Lord Balaram cleared Mother Devaki's womb, I guess symbolically to clear those 6 anarthas represented by those 6 sons that died before. So Mother Devaki, she had, I think it was 8 daughters who died before.
Mother Shachi, yes.
So, yeah. So, did they also represent anarthas, or, I'm not able to.
As I said yesterday, the same question was asked yesterday. As I said yesterday, till now I have not found anything in my research, but I'm still looking. But I've not found anything that talks in specific about the 8 daughters of Sachimata. So if I find something, I'll definitely let everybody know. But till now I haven't found anything.
But yet the understanding is that it was meant to, I guess, purify the area for the appearance of Vishwarup.
Obviously, because, even if it was, even if the 8 daughters would not have come, but, Lord Balaram's mood is always that he always prepares, he's like the first servitor of the Supreme Lord. So he prepares, for Krishna's arrival. So, irrespective of who those girls were or whether those girls would be there or not, even then, Lord Balaram would make sure that, the place was fit for Krishna to come and seek shelter.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it's almost 11:30. If there's no further questions, I'd like to honor the request of Vaneshwari Lakshmi Mataji, if that's okay.
Sure, Mataji.
Okay, this is a bhajan that is written by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. It's one of my very, very dear bhajans. I just love this song. So here it is. Udilo runa puraba bhage Dvijamani Gaura amuni jage Bhakata samoha lohiya sathe Gela nagar braje Tathoi baje lokhol Ghana ghana tahe jhajer rol Preme dholo dholo shona मुकुन्द माधव यादव हरि बोले न बोलो रे बदन बोरी মিছে নিদা বসে গেল রে রাতি দিবস শরীর সাজে এমন দুর্লভ মানব দেহ পাইয়া কি কর ভাবনা কেহ এবে না ভজিলে যশোদা সুত চরমে পরিবে লাজে উদিত তপন হইলে অস্ত দিন গেল বলি হইবে ব্যস্ত তবে কেন এবে আলস্য হয় না ভজে হৃদয় রাজে জীবন নিত্য জনসার তাহে নানাবিধ বিপদ ভার নামাশ্রয় করি যতনে তুমি থাকো আপন কাজে জীবের কল্যাণ সাধন কাম জগতে আসিয়ে মধুর নাম আবিদ্যতি মীরা তপন রূপে হৃদ গগনে বিরাজে কৃষ্ণ নাম সুধা করিয়া পান জুড়াও ভকতি বিনোদ প্রাণ নাম বিনা কিছু নাহি কর চোদ ভুবন মাঝে जय श्रीमन गौरंग महाप्रभु की जय श्रीला भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय इस्कॉन वर्तमान गुरु वृंद की जय हरे कृष्ण
माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम श्रीला प्रभुपाद श्रीला गुरुदेव की जय श्री गौर लीला की जय
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Vancha kalpataruvasti Prabhat Chandrapuravacha Patidanam Pavatude Vaishnavi Karnani Sakoti Vaishnavi Chandrakeja Shvatare Madhakeja Sri Gaura Katha Sri Chaitanya Kalasudha Mataji ki jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Thank you all so much. Special thanks to Phaneshwari Lakshmi Mataji. Thank you for this request. Thank you. Hare Krishna.